Welcome, everybody, to this episode of the Women in Technology Spotlight. Today with me, I have Zana Pekmez, who is the head of customer intelligence at Raiffeisen Bank International. Welcome, Zana.
Welcome, Anke. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Zana, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. My usual first question is always, would you like to tell me a little bit about yourself? So yeah, would you like to do that?
Yes, no problem. Sure, my name is Zana Pekmez. You said it well. I'm leading a team, customer intelligence analytics in Raiffeisen, but also kind of a tribe lead for IT, for retail customer engagement tribe. I am originally from Bosnia and Herzegovina, from Sarajevo, but I lived in many places. I studied in the US for 8 years. I was there for high school and college. Then I came back to Bosnia. I worked there a little bit, and 4 or 5 years ago, actually, we moved to Vienna with my family. Now I'm here. I like it very much. I would like to stay here. I have 2 daughters. I'm very proud of them, and they are really great girls. Yes, and that is about me in short.
Sounds like a already very interesting life journey. So you say you lived in the US for 8 years. So you went to high school there and then university. Did you go there with your family, or was this like a exchange thing?
Actually, I was, as I said, originally I came from Sarajevo, and when right after the war in Sarajevo was over, which was in '96, I got a scholarship through it was called Community of Bosnia at that time, which was an international organization sponsoring students from Bosnia, because it was a war-torn country, and it made sense that the students got an opportunity to get educated in the US, and I was one of the lucky ones. I got a full scholarship to a beautiful private school in New York, to New York State. It's Rockland County. I think that the name of the school is Rockland County Day School. It was a private school, and I was very lucky to have that opportunity in life, because I met some great people, and the way actually how I shaped myself as a person, really, I think that there's a lot of factors that influenced me at that time, the way how I am today. So including also wonderful people, my host parents at the time, and all the wonderful people I went to school with. Actually, there was a funny, an interesting fact that could be also interesting for our audience. I went when I went in '96 in the high school. Together with me, there was a famous cellist at the time, Hannah Chang, for example. This is something interesting. And Hannah Chang is one of the world-known cellists, who at the age of 10 won this big competition, and she also got an opportunity to study in the US and come from South Korea to the US. And that, I mean, this is the kind of people that I went to school with, which is for me incredible.
It sounds amazing, and you emphasize a lot that you were lucky, but I think it wasn't just luck. I mean, not everybody gets a scholarship. You must have been quite good at school.
Yes, I was, but I was never, one of those kids that really studied, like, I never had like straight A's. That was really something, I did a lot of stuff. Like, for example, back in Bosnia, I did a lot of acting. I went to the music school at that time. I played piano. I did singing. I was really kind of multitasking, and I had a lot of extracurricular activities. And I really liked acting. So I guess I had a lot to bring as well to the school, and that was interesting. Yes, and I continued doing that in the States. When I came, then I knew that I need to study, I need to perform well, because I need to earn the scholarship to the college, because my parents, of course, couldn't afford an education in the US. So I was studying hard, but also I continued to do this lot of extracurricular stuff. So.
That sounds like you were a very, or are a very creative person. So, which is a, when you talk about, you know, being in IT, most people expect you to be very much into numbers, into technology, but they don't expect you to be a creative person. So this sounds like very contrary to what you might expect from someone who is working in IT. So maybe you would like to tell us a little bit what brought you into IT from this creative, because I would, from what you tell me, I would expect you to be like an actress in a movie.
Exactly. I mean, this is interesting, and it's really my path to IT is interesting. It's not usual. I mean, how I ended up in the IT. So when I graduated college, I started working. Actually, I had my dream job. I was working for the World Bank project. I was in a small team where we were doing some analysis, econometric analysis, because I was studying economics, econometrics, and it was really for great cause, a job with great purpose. I came back from the US. I was placed in this group to evaluate the impact of introducing a VAT tax in Bosnia, and how would that affect the poverty line. And there was an amazing project, and I really loved it, right? And this was exactly what I wanted to do. You know, come back from the US, help my country grow, you know, change the world, you know, that was the spirit. And, but, you know, reality got, you know, into me pretty quickly when I saw that, you know, no matter how, you know, I was young as well, I was 22, I was full of enthusiasm and, you know, zest to try new things. And I thought I would change the world. But slowly I realized it's not so easy. Of course, it takes time, and one person cannot do it all. And I started to let's say, then of course the project was over, then I needed to find a different job. Then I got into banking, because honestly, I saw that in Bosnia, at that time, we didn't have much stable opportunities. And for me, in order to be able to grow and to get from that, let's say, you know, a life of, let's say, you know, of public institutions where I as a person, as an individual, could not do so much. I can only go to the private sector. And I started my career then in Raiffeisen. So for a very long time, I'm with the bank. And it let's say allowed me a lot to grow my career. I was at different places in the bank, right? But how I started, it was always connected to IT, because for example, one of my first jobs was to set up this custody investment banking department, and it had to do a lot with IT, because we needed to have this let's say reconciliation process with a security registry and the settlement process, and there was a lot of internal communication and internal translation with IT department, and that was always my job. So kind of from the business perspective, to translate the requirements, so like a business analyst, that was something that I did well, and something that I did in Raiffeisen. And from the business analyst to the project manager, leading larger IT projects, and this is how my career evolved towards, let's say, you know, IT and cloud computing, where I'm really now, and being able to really lead these technologies, know the workflows, know the technologies, orchestrate them, put them together in a meaningful way so that they bring business value. But it was never away from IT. I was always there somewhere in the you know, the sweet spot of putting, you know, bringing the business to IT and back and forth. So that was the mutual symbiosis between IT and.
So it sounds very much as if you were an interface between the business and the technology, right? Do I understand this correctly?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is it.
So it wasn't actually a conscious decision to go into IT. It was more something that evolved through the tasks you had to do, I assume. Yeah, and what I also I seem to remember, you were not always at Raiffeisen. Didn't you go elsewhere for a while and then come back to Raiffeisen, or is this something I'm making up?
No, you're right. I mean, I had two, let's say, I call them picnics or excursions from Raiffeisen, which were both interesting and a different experience. So I was shortly a chief operating officer of a small bank in Bosnia, which again had to do with IT. And the reason why I was brought to that position because of my knowledge of actually payments and settlements and operations, so the back office part, which also had a lot to do with IT, and obviously the IT part of all of that, and also the cost management perspective. So this all had to do, managing the capex and opex and projects and putting all that together. So this was really a growing experience for me. I was young at that age. I think I was the youngest board member in Bosnia, but it allowed me to see, how it is really dealing on that level in a small bank, because we were really we were trying to coexist with the big international banks, trying to find our place, our niche, and it was difficult. Then we decided to merge with another bank because the consolidation of the banking market in Bosnia was very much needed because we had a lot of banks. But it was a growing process for me. I learned a lot about how to manage with my colleagues together in a small bank. It's like a business. It was a cool experience, and I always take something good from each experience I had. And also for 1 year, I also I think it was more than 1 year, I went to Accenture. Accenture here in Austria, and this was, I mean, Accenture is a technology consulting company, and for me it was also a growing experience, and it was interesting because I did a project for Raiffeisen. So the reason why I think landed there was also to help with the Raiffeisen accounts. I knew very well our demands, Raiffeisen, where do we want to be, how do we want to transform, and I think that it was a good fit for me, because for Accenture I was exposed to really superb #1 consulting, and colleagues who taught me a lot, and who I still am in contact and learning from, and then also to be able to contribute to a really great project in Serbia that we did. It was the first digital lending product in that region, and that project makes me very proud, because we brought something really, really cool also to the region, right? To the region that I'm close to with my heart, that's the ex-Yugoslavian countries, but also that we did a great thing. It was a wonderful thing. And for example, the knowledge that I had from the back office, from payments, from leading the back office in Raiffeisen, helped me a lot with that project, because you need to know, to be able to have an end-to-end lending product, you need to know also how the back office works. So this is really cool, for the folks that are watching this. You cannot, it's not about only the automation of the front, where you want to, where you want a cool front end, then everything is so neat and nice, and then your back end is still messy. There's like 10 people who are needed out there, and manually to process one loan, right? So this is the cool thing, right? That you need to kind of put everything together and then think, we need to also automate the back office, the back process, and to put it all together so that it brings the business value that it's supposed to bring.
Yeah. I hear that you're very passionate about your country, and you have mentioned a couple of times that it was important for you when you came back after finishing school. You went to Bosnia and you wanted to be there to help build back up Bosnia and do something for your country. Now you're talking about this project that you're really proud of, because you did something really cool also for your region. And I'm wondering, because you moved from Bosnia to Austria, what made you leave your country and come to, I mean, I love yourself living in Vienna. So it's not about Vienna, it's more about why did you leave Bosnia?
It was, for me, it was many factors. One factor is that where I wanted to be with my career, I didn't have a chance to do that in Bosnia, because I was already at the top, so I was a board member of the bank, and for me that was the critical point in my life when I said I don't want to do banking anymore, right? I want to go into like not traditional banking. I really want to go into IT. I want to upskill myself. I want to work on a really cool digital transformation project that, to be honest, Franke, I didn't see that happening in Bosnia at that time. There was no opportunity like that. People are, you can work in a bank. Most of the projects are, yes, there is there is things to change, but at that time, which was 5 years ago, for me, I just didn't see where I can go. And I said, but I wanted to do large things. I wanted to really be a change agent. And for me, to change the politics, change the system, that was not possible. And I would just lose my time, my energy, and then I decided, okay, so this is not happening. I want to do that. I would like to have an opportunity, but it's just not happening. I'm totally not appropriate for anything, not appropriate, but not fit for anything to bring that change. And then then on the other side, I realized, what could help me also gain the skills and get exposed to really good stuff, like, cutting edge technologies. And it was clear that I needed to leave. So that was how I made my decision.
I understand. I think sometimes when you want to grow, you have to go elsewhere. It's just what you have to do. And I'm wondering, so you left Bosnia. Did you already have your daughters then? Or did
yes.
Yeah, so you moved with your entire family, which brings me to the question, how did you go about the decision of moving your entire family? Because obviously your husband will also have to have a job here and the kids have to be relocated. So how did that work? What experience did you have doing that?
Oh, that was very painful. And I'll tell you, this is very hard for us. So my husband had a job in Bosnia. He decided to leave the job because he also wanted to change the things, and we realized that for that children we need to do something. It was a mutual decision, and it was difficult because, especially with my older daughter, because she was already second grade of the elementary school, they didn't know any language, any German. My husband is the only one who is fluent. Me, I am conversational in German. I was before, let's say, I can understand it. I wasn't fully that I didn't know the language. I knew a little bit and I can understand and I can, but now at this point in life, I would say I'm conversational, I can speak. But for children, it was very difficult. And it was a difficult experience. It was a struggle. It was a struggle for us.
So how did all of you adapt? How long did it take for you to feel at home here in Vienna? Do you feel at home here in Vienna?
Absolutely, yes. And this is absolutely yes. And this is what we decided. I mean, we had ideas of, maybe explore further. For example, for me, I'm always playing with the thought of going back to States, and because maybe there is more opportunities there. But I think with what we realized, that we really like Austria a lot, and it's very close to our culture. There is a lot of ex-Yugoslavian people here. We have friends here. Our children are feeling at home. We are feeling at home. For me, I think I finally find my place, and this is very important for us. That we decided that we are staying here, and we want to really settle. But let's say that we are at this point. How long did it take us? Definitely 2 years. Not good. I think that this was not less than that. It took us 2 years to really, because my husband didn't have a job for the first year, so it was all on me, and then he was helping with the kids and with the home. But you know, it was difficult for him because he also needed to find his place, and this is important for partnership. It's important for marriage and for everything. So then he got a job, and when he got a job, it started a little bit, you know, going back to normal everything, and with the children, and also with Raiffeisen, I feel at home. And this is because this is where I spend all my career. So it's nice. It's nice to feel like I'm contributing, and I have really great team, and I can see the results. I can see the change, and this is really also important, right? So
that's actually a thing I would like to talk to you about, because we now know a little bit about your background, your story, and that you work at Raiffeisen, but maybe you would like to explain a little bit about what you actually do there. What do you do as a head of customer intelligence? What does that mean?
I am leading a small team, customer intelligence analytics, but my impact and how I make how I work as a change agent is being a tribe IT co-lead for retail customer engagement tribe, which is really a big tribe and really cool tribe. We have people from all over the world who work, very multi-ethnic and diverse environment. In our tribe, actually, we have 5 products. We have digital personalization, where we use analytics and data science to calibrate and personalize our banking offers and our products for the customers. And then we have a campaign management tool. This is let's say a CRM technology, which we roll out to our markets. We have 13 Raiffeisen markets in 13 countries in the CE region. And then we have retail analytics. This is retail customer analytics, is a product where we actually do the data science, where the data scientists develop different analytical models, then we deploy in production. Then we have customer experience, so kind of a systematic customer feedback collection, which is again a technology that we roll out to different markets in our country. So in the channels where we collect customer feedback and then use that to improve our product. We use that also in data science as a kind of input data for analyzing our customer behavior and stuff like that. And then we have one of the most important products that we recently put together, and where I am, let's say, kind of leading it and really making sure that it brings the value. It's the retail data, which means that what we want to do, we want to collect the data and centralize the retail customer data from all our 13 markets in the cloud, which means not only, it's not about one database where you migrate it into the cloud, but it's about various markets where we want to collect kind of a panoramic view of the customer in this customer 360 context, and have that in the cloud, and have that data centralized so we can use it not only for the visualization purposes, but also for exploratory purposes for our data scientists. And this is really a large transformational project which we started, and this will probably take some time, but this is really interesting, and this is something that we are running.
That sounds really fascinating. I mean, actually, what I was thinking about while you told me about this project was that I've heard a lot from a lot of women I've talked to that data science is a big field that is currently growing like exponentially. So a lot of data science scientists are looked for. Do you think this is something that you would recommend people to look at if they are thinking about a career in IT? Because I feel that there is so much opportunity there to do interesting projects if you have, if you choose this.
Yes, I would say data science is a science, right? Where I think that what we need more, and where I feel the demand is a data engineers.
Okay.
And my recommendation to young women, I think the data science and of course data engineering are very connected, right? You need this data engineering comes first, right? You need to do you need to be able to collect the data. You need to be able to clean it. You need to be able to transform it in the right format, and then use it for any kind of modeling purposes. So I mean, I think that where I would start, if many years ago, I would like to be able to know these this tool set and these workflows of data engineering in the cloud, and of course with the cloud tools. For example, right now I'm hiring a lot, and you have a lot of situations where you have engineers who have dealt with on-premise tools, right? And it's very similar, and I would say that it wouldn't take a lot for somebody to upskill in the cloud, but I think that to be able to use these tools with the AWS stack or GCP or Azure, it's important to have this as well. So I mean, data engineering is something that I would say that is really demanded right now, and I can see much potential there. Data science, I think you need to really be a scientist. This is what I guess from my colleagues that I had a pleasure and honor to work with, especially really talented women. They're scientists, right? And you need to know the data, you need to know the modeling tools, you need to understand the math, you need to understand this kind of stuff. And I think this is a scientific process. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, I understand, and that's very good input. So I guess what you're saying is it makes more sense to, if you are not into being a scientist and going through the process of getting the education to do that, but you're still interested in the field, it would make sense to, on the one hand, go into data engineering. And the other thing that is a big growth market is also the whole cloud area, be it AWS, Azure, or GCP, or Alibaba, or whoever we're talking about. So these are skills that are definitely looked for if you're going into IT at the moment. And that's what I also see. That's true.
I think the cloud computing is number one. It's essential. Cloud is essential, and it's essential for data analytics. And I think that this is, I'm not very good with numbers, but I recently read that, almost 70% of analytics will be in the cloud in the next 5 years.
I think that's also for scalability reasons. You have to have a place where you store all these large amounts of data. There you have to have the possibility to scale up if you need more resources, and you just can't do that on-prem, I guess. So yeah, I also see that. Yeah, so apart from what fields to look at, what other tips would you give to young women thinking about going to technology, doing something with technology? Because obviously there are different areas of interest, but maybe you have some life tips for them.
Yes. Life tips. I think that there was a great book. I liked Sheryl Sandberg very much, but the old Sheryl Sandberg. I mean, this is the one which when she started, she actually wrote this beautiful book, Lean In, right? I mean, and where she was, and Option B as well is a very good book that she wrote after that of her husband, not to marginalize the importance of that book as well. But I like Sheryl, and I think Sheryl had a very good and powerful message for us women, is to lean in, right? And I always remember that, to lean in, because sometimes we women, of course, have more tendency to have an imposter syndrome, right? To feel like we don't belong somewhere, or that we cannot do anything, and very much in, especially in technology, for us women who are in technology, because right now, for example, I find myself very often the only woman on the at the table, especially in the data area. So this is not unusual, and we should really lean in, right? And because we are smart, you know, we have the smarts, we have also emotional intelligence, we have everything that it takes to understand and lead the change, right, towards results, and lead that in an impactful, you know, efficient and a fruitful way. So I would encourage all the women to really you know, never feel like imposters, always look forward, lean in, be there, be visible, be loud, fight for ourselves, right? And also we should be supportive of each other, and this is very important. This is what I try to do, and I really am trying to tell to my ladies that work in my team together with me, that I'm there for them, and that they feel this encouragement, and that you know, that I'm there to support them for whatever, be it career or the personal life, because it's also, I mean, we need to be there for each other. I think this is really important.
Yes, thank you for that, because that is also something I try to push, you know, the joint support, you know, because together, of course, we are stronger, and men have their networks. I think it's important for us to be there for each other, especially because often there's just one or two at the same table. Yeah, so thank you, Zana. Thank you for sharing your story. It's an amazing story again. I love talking to you and to all the other women so much, because you all have this incredible, very varied story.
No, thank you very much for giving me opportunity to have my voice heard, and that, you know, that I will have a chance to, through you and your impactful channel, to also reach out to wonderful ladies. And also when you know, guys, if you have questions for me, please reach out to me. Ronki can leave my contact information. If you want me to give you some advice how to, let's say, you know, upskill yourself in cloud, or how I did it, and share my journey, please just, you know, be free to contact me, and I will reply for sure.
Thank you, Zana. Thank you. And
thank you, Ronka. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.